And we're going to jump right into things here today. So we are really excited to have the Mile High Denver chapter with us so that we can talk about working with business partners. They have a program that they've been using for a couple of years. And I'd like to introduce first their Mile High Denver past president, RJ Morrow. RJ, how are you doing here today?
I'm doing good. It's nice to be here to speak with everybody. Hi.
Yeah, and we'll also have Bill Bradford, who has been a region leader in the Midwest Rocky Mountain region for several years, and he's a member of the Mile High chapter for several years and has worked with their program as well. So, but we're going to kick things off with RJ, and then we'll get into talking with Bill. That question.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. In the chat, if you open the chat, we do have a question about what chapter you're from and the size of your chapter. If you could head over there and just set that out for us, that'll help us with some of our discussion, because with business partners and vendors, as you're looking for them, it can kind of depend on maybe your access to them and how large your chapter is. And then I think one of the other questions that we kind of wanted to ask was what the current state of your vendor relationships or business partner relationships, and we'll take if 2 to 3 of you feel brave enough to answer that question, we would appreciate that. So if there's any people who want to talk about where their current program is.
Great. This is Bill. I'm going to be sharing my screen. RJ and I have been, as Heather said, on the board together. This program got rolled out about 5 years ago when I was president of the Mile High chapter, and I am delighted to say that the chapter has done a fantastic job of continuing on with the program and making enhancements along the way that have benefited the business partners that we have here in the Denver area. So can everybody see my screen? I'm hoping that you can. There we go.
Sorry, Bill, that was my fault.
Hey, no problem.
Sharing.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
So this is the document that the Mile High chapter uses on a yearly basis for the business partner program here in Denver. I was going to have RJ kind of talk about how the really how the program gets rolled out to the business partners and kind of how that whole process works. So, and if we could have everybody go on mute if you're not asking a question or anything, that would be great. Getting a lot of feedback.
All right. Well, as Bill has pulled up the main document, this is presented to the, it's at the end of the year, so it's that current year's business partners at a business partner appreciation breakfast. And maybe we can talk specifically about that term business partner. So I think for years we had talked about vendors or sponsors, you know, who is sponsoring one meeting or sponsoring this, or who's the vendor that we can have. And we really thought about, you know, what kind of message are we sending with what we even call these folks that support our chapter and make our meetings possible. And we thought, well, they're more of a partner. And so I think it was Bill who coined the term business partner. And we've heard a lot of positive feedback about that they actually really appreciated that change in almost tone in how they were approached, and then how we approach them to our membership. Our membership hears us calling them partners, so they really appreciate that. So just a history on the word and framing that up. So at the Business Partner Appreciation Breakfast, we invite them before our last June business meeting of the year to kind of thank them. I mean, the initial thing is to really thank them for supporting us through that whole year. And then we do present our program for the upcoming year, which is what this slide deck is. And the format of our business partner program has been pretty much the same for the past 5 years, as Bill mentioned. And Bill, if you want to go to slide 7, we can kind of show them what those levels are.
Okay. I actually wanted to stop here even real quickly. As RJ said, the changing just the word from vendor to business partner has made a huge, huge difference. And I always kind of looked at it from the standpoint of even 2 other words that we hear a lot, client versus customer. To me, there's a much more, I don't know, positive or different connotation to the word client than there is customer. And so that's why we made the change from vendor to business partner. And I will, what you're seeing here, or a lot of it, was not invented by us at the chapter. I am a business partner. I work for a company that supports ARMA at the local level and the national level. And one of the other organizations that I am very, very involved in is the ALA, the Association of Legal Administrators. And over my time being involved with them, the success and volume of business partners that organization has, even locally here, within their business partner program is huge. And you'll see here in a couple of slides, the fees and things that we charge to our business partners. And when we get to that, I'll kind of give you an idea of what the ALA here in Denver is charging for some of these same levels. But I wanted to touch on this page just real quickly to give everybody an idea of some of the things that we consider are benefits of the program. So it's increased visibility with the local room professionals, profile page on the chapter website, opportunities to sponsor chapter events, access to the attendee list, which I'm going to have RJ kind of touch on too as we get into the slide 7 that she referenced, because I think, and Heather, it's good that we've got you guys from HQ on here, because I think there's some pieces to that all of the chapters need to be aware of in regards to providing business partners names of attendees for any of the events that we are putting on. So I'm going to make the jump over here to, and you can see here, this is something, a page that the chapter put in that are some new things that they have added to the program as of 2017, 2018. So here is slide 7. So take it away, RJ.
Thanks, Bill. So we have 4 levels for our business partner sponsorship. And we do limit the amount of people that can go in each of those levels. Now, I know in some situations, maybe it may make more sense that you have unlimited platinum, unlimited gold, silver. But for us, it really made sense to make each of those tiers unique and only have a certain amount of vendors that could go in that. And what that has done is it has provided a little bit of competition between those folks who want to be the platinum partner and the gold partner. And speaking of platinum, you can be the platinum partner for 2 consecutive years. And if you are the platinum partner for 1 year, you get the first right of refusal for the second year. So you can decide whether you want to take advantage of your second year or choose a different tier. But you're only allowed to be the platinum partner for 2 years in a row, and then another partner can choose that level. And as we start looking at each of the levels, you know, we talk about the benefits for each of those. How many monthly programs you will be the executive or exclusive sponsor for, what you will get in regards to our spring seminar, which is coming up this April, and we have it every April. It also talks about any networking events that you would get as part of your sponsorship, which those are a lot more informal events where we, you know, have happy hour and members come, and we usually coordinate those with a monthly meeting as well. So just taking a look, maybe we'll start with Gold. You can see that they have one monthly program that they get to sponsor and one networking event, should they choose to sponsor a networking event. They will get to participate and be the second choice for a monthly workshop topic. And I can go into a little bit more details about what that means for us. That's also an additional thing that we do in our chapter for additional education opportunities. But I'll do that if we have some questions about it. Again, you'll get recognition on our website every monthly meeting when we have our slide that shows all of our sponsors. You're listed. You also get sponsorship listed in our spring seminar brochure. And you get to be the second round booth-based choice for the spring seminar. So when we're talking about having 15 booths at our seminar, people want to have the right table where they think they might get the most access. So they get to have their choice of tables. And with the cost for 2017-2018 did increase over our previous 4 years, really because we thought we are shown to have been providing value, and we added some things this year that we thought would provide more value. One of those being a logo that we will provide to the business partners for the spring seminar that they can use to put on emails or invoices to say that, you know, they are a proud sponsor of Denver ARMA. So they can show that to people that may not be coming to ARMA meetings, but that they care and that they're invested in their community. We also are going to create a local buyer's guide just for the Metro Denver area that will include our business partners, and that will be something that all attendees get in their bag for free at the spring seminar. But again, it's that way that we're showing them, here's the investment that we're asking you to make, and here is the benefit that we believe you will get. All this increased invisibility, not just the lists of people that have come to the meetings as well. So any questions, or you can chat or anything for levels? Go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say, one thing that I would like to throw out there is, as you guys are looking at this, and as you're thinking about business partners, there's a couple things to really, in my mind, think about when you are working with your current business partners or approaching potential new business partners. And those things are, number one, anytime that we're asking folks like this to sponsor or invest money in the chapter, or even at the national level, there's always going to be an ROI factor attached to that investment. And hopefully the business partner and that organization understands that whether it's ARMA, whether it's ALA, ILTA, IFMA, you name it, whatever organization it is that they are partnering with, that there's always going to be, that these are relationship type or relationship based associations, and that to really see the benefit of the ROI, you need to stay involved long term. And that's one thing that I am constantly telling current business partners, potential business partners, that this is not as I like to call it, this is not a one and done kind of a relationship. And so, using these levels as an example, if somebody wants to come in and be a gold partner and invest that $1,500 in the chapter, they need to understand that, you know, they're not going to come in and create, you know, $10,000 worth of business potentially in that first year, because it is a matter of coming in, getting an understanding of the organization, getting that comfort level with the members, and them getting a comfort level with you, and developing that relationship and developing that trust. And so once that's done, I will be very honest, I'm living proof that the ROI piece begins to come back to that business partner. The second thing that I would want to say is, RJ mentioned the buyer's guide, and ALA does something very, very similar. The one thing that I've seen ALA do, and I think that we ought to be doing as well as another way of supporting our business partners, is, and I've got competitors that come to the Mile High chapter and are business partners with the Mile High chapter, and it would go with the same with them. I'm not looking for something that is, specific to me, but I think that we need to really promote the use of the business partners that are sponsoring our chapters and our organization as a whole, as business partners that our members should use or should consider using. It drives that value right back to the business partner, and I think that that's really what, with these types of programs, we're really trying to do. So I would, make those suggestions to you, and those are very, very simple conversations to have at a chapter meeting, promoting business partners to the chapter, because I think, as everybody can attest, and I want RJ to kind of go into the economics, I'll call it, a little bit of the program and what it does for the local chapter. But I think in promoting these business partners to our chapter members, it only adds benefit for them, and it adds a sense of stability and other things to our chapter members. So talk a little bit more about how the program rolls out, RJ, and what the benefit is in regards to revenue to the chapter.
Okay, definitely. I'm going to answer a few questions we have, and then the last question we got kind of leads into what you're talking about, the
Perfect.
economics. We did get a question that I will gladly kind of maybe glow over a little bit, about whether Mile High Denver was the first in ARMA, to my knowledge, use the term business partner. And I do believe that we were, because I remember talking to Bob Baird when he was the CEO at the Cincinnati leadership conference, and I kept saying business partner. He's like, "You guys call them business partners? That's great." So I'd like to say that I think we were the first ARMA group to use that term. And then there was another question about how many partners we have at each level. And I'm also really pleased that we have our top 3 tiers full. We have 1 platinum, 3 golds, 4 silvers. And we have about, at the end of December, we had 8 bronze partners, and we have added about 2 since then. So we're about at 9 to 10 bronze partners at this point in time. So pretty good for the year. So we have a total of, does that make it 15 or just over 15 for our Spring Seminar Expo? So going back to the third question, what Bill asked about, so the benefit of being a business partner for our program year versus an event sponsor. So to clarify, if you become a business partner of Mile High Denver, you are a business partner for our entire program year. We don't have partnerships or sponsorships just for specific events. It's just that each level gets to be an event sponsor. So our platinum partner sponsored our first meeting. They sponsored our, I think it was January meeting, and they are the executive sponsor of the spring seminar as well. And the reason we do that is because that's how we are also building value. So when they sign up, when we present all this to them at the breakfast in June, we open registration for the following year's partnerships in July. That means that we have the majority of all of our business partners signed up before we even start our program year in September. That allows us to know what our budget is before the year even begins. So I know that, and we had these levels full by September. We had a couple bronze trickle in throughout the rest of the 2017. But because we have that money, that cash on hand from our business partners, we now know we can go after that speaker we wanted that's going to cost a little bit more, or that we have to, fly in and pay for hotel. We know that we have the money to get the speakers that we want, to provide the programs that we want for our chapter. It also, again, will help with our spring seminar. If we want to go super big with our spring seminar, we know that we have the budget there to support a larger event ahead of time. And this has really changed the way that Mile High Denver has done its programming for the past 5 years. If you go just to the next slide, Bill, just 18, we list what our event descriptions are. And we know our spring seminar date ahead of time. We know the date of all of our meetings. So I can assign each business partner the month they want. They can find a topic that correlates maybe with something that a service that they're providing, or a software that they sell. So they can also coordinate with our topics, because we also have our programming planned for the year starting in August. We have to have things in place where if maybe a speaker cancels and stuff, we have all that back up. But for the majority, we have a theme to our year, and we know our topics and speakers by August, which shows our business partners exactly what they're going to get and where they might want to plug themselves into. So that really helps a lot, and again, provides value. And that has, as we've learned, as we've rolled this program out for 5 years, that has really gotten better each year. We learn new things, and we get feedback from our business partners. I think we're always taking feedback from our business partners. I know that there are, we have one business partner that's not going to be able to make our spring seminar. And so while they are sad to miss out on their booth, I can offer them a workshop at the remaining 2 meetings. I can offer them something else. We can be flexible in the benefits that we're giving, so that they still feel like we're working with them, so that they can get the value out of their sponsorship.
The one thing I want to jump in here and just make a comment on is the question that somebody asked about sponsoring just, I think, individual events maybe. Hopefully this program, with the things that we're showing you, you can see where you can maybe be, or maybe you need to be a little bit more flexible, or create something a little bit different based on maybe the number of meetings that you have per program year, or maybe you have, we have chapters that, they do a spring seminar every year, and that they were, maybe are looking for business partners to sponsor that event. There are all kinds of things that you can do, and really what we're showing today, and I'm hoping, is just an idea of what we're doing. And even if you are able to take pieces of this and use that in your chapters, that isn't something you have currently, then that's great. So,
Great.
The piece here that go ahead, RJ.
No, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was just going to say, the piece here where you see in the first, or actually that's the second bullet point, where it says opt-in, that speaks to the attendee list that can be provided.
The slide that we're seeing says Mile High Chapter events descriptions.
Yes, if you go to that monthly programs, educational meetings, the first underlined, the second bullet point there at the end of that says the opt-in registration info.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, and Heather, I'm glad that you're there, because what this is all about is, and Heather, you correct me if I misstate this, but in order to possibly provide names of attendees to our business partners for these kinds of events, we have to give our attendees the ability to opt in or opt out of their information going to a business partner.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not something that we can just go ahead and, okay, we had 40 attendees and we're going to funnel all of those names off to the business partner.
Right.
I believe as an organization, we can't do that. We have to give them the ability to say, yes, yeah, it's okay if you send my stuff to the business partner, or no, I don't want them to do that.
Correct.
So.
Yes, and we include that in every meeting registration. So it's a new question each time you register. So you know that the business partner this month is Access, and that is something that you're looking for. So you decide, yeah, I do want to be contacted by them. So you can choose to opt in per meeting, per type of business partner, which I think is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Another quick question that we had was, do we prorate the fees if they sign up later in the year? And the answer, we do not prorate that if they sign up later in the year. We actually incentivize them to sign up early, because you might as well sign up in August if you plan to be a gold sponsor, because then you will get the full benefits from our September meetings through to our June meeting, rather than, say, signing up in December and only having your name and your logo on our slides and our newsletter on our website for, 2 less months. So we really tell people to sign up early. Also, if they sign up after January 1st, because we would get a lot of people who'd say, well, we really only want to exhibit. We're really only going to be able to be there to exhibit at your spring seminar. So we actually increase our price of the bronze sponsorship after the first of the year by $75. So that's saying, again, it's going to cost you more and you're not getting the benefits if you don't sign up prior to the middle of the year. Actually, it would be the first of the program year. So we hope people will do that again, so that we can have that information. And I do believe that we'll be sending out these slides. There's been a couple of questions about the slides. And if you're looking to see who's a national business partner of ARMA, that is listed on the ARMA website. And ARMA itself has a buyer guide, if I'm correct, Heather, which we're modeling our business buyer's guide after.
Yeah, and we actually have Jennifer Millett, who's our person at HQ who works with business partners, on the line as well. So if you have any specific questions, she can try and answer those for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I'll say about the program is, in doing it this way and having the rollout breakfast and all of that, and introducing this program right at the tail end of our program year, is, I know part of the reason why we wanted to do it this way was also to try and help the business partners be able to budget for the sponsorship of our chapter, giving them the ability to have this information ahead of time, and hopefully being able to give them even a couple weeks, couple months to look over everything and decide what level that they wanted to be at. So that's the other piece to this as well.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a question here that was clarified. I think someone on the line is looking not only for business partners that are national with ARMA International, but I think they're looking for national partners that work with the Denver chapter.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you go to our website, they're listed on there, but I would say probably 80%, and I'm not super good at math, so 80% of our business partners are national. We have a handful of bronze partners that are local, but any of those that are filling those top 3 tiers, except for, I believe, one in the silver, are national. So we have Iron Mountain, Access, 2 companies that have recently changed their names, DTI, which is now Epic, and what used to be for us, Tab of the Rockies, they now are with a national organization called Total Document Solutions. But we also have IBML, we have Box. So we have a good amount of national folks that don't have people in Denver. So I wanted to talk to some of the smaller chapters that I saw that are on here. I mean, we had one, I think, was it 8, and a new chapter getting off the ground. So good luck with that, and congratulations to, chapters as big as 200. And just so you can right size yourself compared to Mile High, we are about 170 to 180 members. So we do get lumped into that very large chapter level as ARMA groups them. And so, and being in Denver, being a major city, we do have access maybe to more national vendors. But for smaller chapters, I would suggest maybe looking for non-traditional folks. I mean, do you know a local company that manages the printers or multifunction printers at your organization? Do they also provide digitization or scanning? That's something that your members might be looking for. Do you have a company that does printing, and maybe your members need uses for printing? So you could also survey your members and see what things they're in need of for their organizations. Do they need somebody who can do scanning, somebody that can do software, somebody that can do storage? And then you can maybe start looking in little less traditional places for local vendors and just reaching out to them. Bill mentioned ALA. Denver, we have the ALA group. See who their vendors are, or their business partners, and see if you can maybe get them to also sponsor your local chapter. But also, again, since we are a larger chapter, you can take pieces of what we're doing and right size it for your organization. Maybe your largest event is your spring seminar, and you struggle to get funds to create other meetings throughout the year. So if you can really create a lot of benefit around your spring seminar to vendors, still get them to sign up maybe in August saying, oh, that's assuring your sponsorship of the spring seminar. But if you can sponsor us starting in August, then we can also, have more meetings throughout the year. We can give you extra benefits at the spring seminar. So just thinking of different ways to kind of add value to them can be helpful. Then, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the big things that kind of goes down that ROI path is just FaceTime. Business partners just want to be in front of potential buyers. And that's a big, big thing. So to RJ's point, if you can start solidifying some additional business partners for your program to where you can maybe start having some additional meetings, it gives them more opportunity to be out in front of your membership, which is potential clients for them. So that in and of itself is a huge thing to every business partner that you might be able to bring into your program.
Yeah, and a lot of it is word of mouth. Once a vendor says, "Hey, I have this new relationship with the local chapter of ARMA, and it's going well," maybe they can tell other vendors, or you can find out. Somebody mentioned you can find out who their competitor is and invite their competitor to also be a business partner. There's good, healthy competition. But I do think that, as Bill has mentioned, it's a relationship, having a relationship with these folks. And I know that our business partners that we have that continuously come back each year and even increase their partnership levels. We had somebody who, since the beginning of the program, was a bronze partner. And last year they said, hey, with these new things that you're adding, we're going to bump up our sponsorship to silver. So they stay in it for the long haul. They realize they're getting, FaceTime with the members of your chapter and yourself. I consider a lot of our business partners my friends, because I know that we're helping each other out. Plus, they're just really cool people. So, Bill excluded, but no, I'm just kidding. I love Bill. Bill, you were one of the first people I ever met in ARMA. So, it's been my pleasure.
That is right. We've known each other for a long time. So, I've moved the slide deck here to slide number 9, which is kind of a table that gives you an idea of again, kind of more spelled out what the benefits are to the business partners. And one of the things that I think kind of goes along with one of the questions that, and a great answer that you had, RJ, was the being able to have additional meetings and those kinds of things. But at every single educational event, every month that the Mile High chapter has, they have a slide deck that they use for announcements or recognizing new members and guests and those kinds of things. But every single month, one of those slides is the logo of every single business partner that is at that point in time sponsoring the chapter. So even if it's not your month to sponsor an educational meeting, your logo will still be shown to every attendee at that event, whether you're sponsoring it or not. So again, it's just another way of creating that value for the business partners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this grid that we have, again, is just a way of showing so that they can easily compare. I think a few other highlights that we added this year was sometimes our local vendors or business partners aren't also members of ARMA or of your local chapter, which we, of course, encourage them to do that. But because for our meetings, our monthly meetings, we have a tiered pricing. So Mile High members are 30, guests are 35. We do offer a student and retiree at 25 as well. A lot of our business partners were paying that 35 guest fee. So we said, hey, you're a business partner. You should be paying, you know, a normal member fee. So we said they can pay the normal member fee. We encouraged them to start coming to our meetings. We said, hey, even though you're not sponsoring, come get that FaceTime. The person who is sponsoring the monthly meeting does get to get up and talk. And then I think this year, Mile High Denver changed websites. And so we had previously listed all of our business sponsors on a page that, you know, once you landed on our front page, you'd have to navigate to go look at our business partners. But on our new website for Platinum through Silver, you are on our landing page. So that was increased visibility. We have your logos on our landing page as sponsors, and also in the left-hand navigation of our website for any page that you go to on our website. So just different ways to increase visibility. And then, Bill, do we want to show the other document, the yearly review?
Yeah, the other thing that I was going to kind of throw out here that is a different way to maybe engage or look at your business partners. One of the, I think the core things that ARMA has really been trying to do is obviously increase membership. We try to do that at the local level. We're trying to do that at the national level. And I think that this is another opportunity for us to engage our business partners in maybe a little bit different way. You know, I am, and every business partner that is out there kind of falls under some of the same parameters where we have, I'll just call it activity that we are required to do on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis as part of our jobs and our positions. And obviously it would vary by positions, but as an example, with me being a sales executive for Access, I am required to go out and have X number of meetings every week, every month. One of the things that I do every time I go out to see someone is I find out, and sometimes I know in advance, sometimes I don't, find out if they are a member of the local chapter of ARMA. I have run into a number of occasions where I have gone and met with, whether it's a law firm or an energy company or a manufacturing company or whatever that has a records department, and none of those folks are attending ARMA meetings. And so it is a great way for us to go to our business partners, and this is something that RJ has no idea that I was going to go down this path, but I think it's just another opportunity that we can give to our sponsors, to our business partners that are sponsoring our chapters, that look, we're going to create another form of recognition. And maybe it's an award, maybe it's something, but it's just kind of throwing out ideas here that at the end of a program year, you look at how many new members or even guests that a business partner has brought to chapter meetings, and maybe offer them another form of recognition for doing that. And I say all that because we are, the way it kind of looks now as a chapter, you're hoping that people find your chapter, come in and check out a meeting, they like what they see, they like the people they've met, and they become a member. So why not add extra sets of eyes and ears to your community in engaging with your business partners to try and get them to bring folks that maybe are not members of your chapter to meetings. And maybe as a chapter, if they do that, that first meeting for that guest maybe is done at no cost, or maybe it's the business partner can pay for them to attend at a student level or something like that, that not only incentivizes the business partner with some type of recognition, but it also allows them to have that flexibility to bring somebody to an ARMA meeting who they think might be interested in becoming a member. Because again, it goes back to that FaceTime. This now gives that business partner the opportunity to see that potential client every month at an ARMA meeting. So it gives them that ability. So maybe consider doing something like that, or looking at adding that to your current program as something that you can offer to your business partners. I'll bring up that second document.
Yeah, thank you.
Here we go.
Oh, that's a good point. Again, all providing value.
Yeah.
So the next document that Bill has brought up is something that I put together last year when I was thinking about the program and the changes that we were going to be doing and how we had increased our levels a little bit, and really saying, well, how do I prove to them, the business partners, the value that they got from last year, and maybe that would make them be more interested in getting additional value this year. So this document kind of is just an overview of our year. So it was our theme, again, Mile High. We've seen each of our years, and so each of our monthly topics we try to target towards our theme. I said, okay, I know the meeting attendance for each meeting. Let me average that out. So our average meeting attendance was 42. That meant that on average, a business partner could have interacted with 42 possible customers or clients, or maybe some of them were already customers. So it's good to have that continuing relationship with their customers. You know, I did want to point out that there was 2 meetings where we didn't have a monthly sponsor, and that was because our sponsorship levels weren't full. And so, hey, that was missed opportunity. So go up a level this year and make sure you're a silver sponsor, and you will then get to sponsor a meeting. Talked about the business partner workshops. And just to touch base on those again, ahead of each monthly meeting, we leave the option open for a business partner to conduct a 30-minute workshop based on any topic. And while normally if a business partner wanted to speak at an hour monthly meeting, we'd say, well, it needs to remain vendor agnostic, tool agnostic. But during these workshops, they're allowed to talk specifically about services or tools that they provide. It does not need to be agnostic. So those workshops are really great opportunities for them. I'd like to see them take advantage of them a little bit more. And then I talked about our networking events that we had. As you scroll down, I go ahead and break out each month. And I actually did steal this table from the Midwest Rocky Mountain Region Leadership chapter reports that we complete each year. So I said, hey, I'm already doing this for one other document. I might as well add, who was the sponsor for that month, and kind of so they can see what we were doing in the caliber of speakers that we get, and the topics we cover. So then at the end of the review for the year, I talk about what the next year is going to be. So our 2017-2018 theme, at the time I created this, we modified it a little bit. Instead of being well-rounded RIM professional, it's maximize your RIM value. And then I talked about what our targets are. And then I left it open. I asked a question. I'm like, what else would you like to see? What kind of feedback do you have us? What kind of feedback do you have for the chapter? And so this was a pretty easy document to put together. And I feel like people really appreciated kind of just seeing our year overall. So Bill, did you have anything to add? Or?
Yeah, I was just going to say that this is a great document that, to RJ's point, if you have a business partner that's, sitting there on the fence and, well, I don't know if I want to become a business partner, they now have the ability to go back to this and look at this and say, well, geez, in July they had 60 people and 40, 49. And all of a sudden, the business partner, the one I really look at, again, obviously, is April, the spring seminar, where we had 128 people. And so it gives them the ability to really kind of put hard numbers to the potential investment that they are contemplating making. And so I think this is a great document to be able to put together and share with those business partners, just to give them some idea of what the benefits are to becoming a business partner for that local chapter.
Yeah, great. We had a few other questions. So somebody asked if our meetings are in the evening, and they are actually during the day. So we host our meetings at a local events vendor location that's not too far of a drive for most of our members. It has free parking. That usually tends to be the key to make our members come, is free parking, and good quality speakers and topics, of course. But we do find that the lunch hour, the kind of 11 to 1 o'clock hour, is really helpful for people. We've tried meetings in the morning, we've tried meetings in the evenings, both with kind of the same mild success. Most people I hear say they don't want evening meetings because they don't want to battle traffic home. So if we do like a 4 o'clock meeting. And then the other question was, how do we advertise to non-ARMA members in our area? So that's always tricky. I think we rely a lot on word of mouth. We have people bringing guests. We do have quite a number of guests that come, so that's helpful. But we will advertise on the records management listserv, for those of you that are a part of that. We have our public LinkedIn, our Twitter. We will also, we have a list of people who are non-members, an email list that we just keep up and maintain and shoot them our monthly meeting newsletters. So a couple ways that we try to do non-ARMA members in our area.
The other thing to think about in advertising your meetings is other associations. Mm-hmm. We've actually had folks who are ARMA members in Denver speak at ALA meetings on records topics. So it's a great thing to do, to be able to tag team monthly meetings, and it's something that I'd like to see us even do more of, and be able to capitalize on those other associations and how we can partner with them.
Right, and we've really been trying to reach out to students. So the University of Denver has a library and information science program, and does teach archives classes and records management. We actually have a chapter member who is an associate professor who teaches the advanced records management class. So she will let her students know about meetings that we have. We try to post on the student listservs for meetings. So if you have a university in your area, whether it has an information program or not, that could be a great place to start looking to get people to attend your meetings and get, more people interested in records management, even if it's just a regular business program, or maybe if it's even just, a community college. I know a lot of people I feel like people say people fall into records management, but maybe we can start getting people interested in it before they fall into the career. I don't know if we had anything else, Bill, or if we wanted to just do a roundup or a follow-up.
Yeah, I think that was it that I had. I was going to stop the sharing and turn it back over to Heather, and we can answer any other questions that come back in.
Yeah, there was a STAR chapter specific question as your chapter uses STAR chapter, and but I think Marshall from Golden Gate was also able to jump in and can answer that. Tammy's wanting to know how do you send emails for non-verified people in your STAR chapter website?
Yes, and that is something, and we are new to STAR chapter, so we've been figuring out some kind of different tricky things. I mean, it's great for managing your total association, from your email newsletters and communications to meeting registration. But yeah, I think you just need to create a different database for those email lists. And try sending them that way. We have been trying to go through that process to get people verified. We also know that we need to make sure that our members are receiving our information. So we actually are going to, after our spring seminar settles down, kind of have a membership outreach for folks, saying we're going to have each of our board members reach out to a set of 20 members and give them a call. Actually call people instead of sending them an email, or send them an email from my personal work email, and just give a chat. Say, hey, we're glad you're a member. Hey, we have a new website. Have you had any problems with it? So kind of doing some things like that. A ratio of members to vendors. That's a good question of my math. Well, we have 15 vendors, and we have 178 members. So yeah, that's as far as I can go.
Oh, could I go back to that last question on STAR chapters?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, this is Angel. I'm from a couple of chapters, but I happen to know Seth Byam has been webmaster using STAR chapter for a number of years now. So if you have specific questions about that, you can reach out to the webmaster at ARMA, New Jersey, ARMA NJ.
That's great.
That's great to
That's
know.
helpful. Thank you.
And guys, this is Gene from Metro New York, and I'll throw our hat in the ring there as well. We also use STAR chapter, and we have the dedicated IT directors, so we're also glad to help. And I want to take the opportunity to thank you guys for sharing this. I think this is, very innovative, and I echo my comments before on the chat. This is, it's very creative and inspiring. I mean, sponsorship is kind of this battle that keeps on giving with every new chapter year. So some great new ideas. I just want to re-ask something that I asked before on the chat, if I may, and I'm not sure if anybody saw that or not, but the question was, RJ, you described, giving folks the ability to opt in to a mailing list, and this is something that we've been talking about doing, and we think it's very important, obviously, as a records management association and an information governance association. The question I had was from as far as implementation. If you're hosting a conference type meeting where there's more than one sponsor, or in our case, we have dozens for our annual event, how would you handle that?
Yes, good question. Thank you for pointing that out. So like with our spring seminar, is if we have people register and they say they are opting into the business partner information, we'll add them to the list that each business partner will get. So I will create a list of our attendees who agreed yes to opt in and send that to the business partners. I mean, as far as those lists go, once we create them, we do just kind of give them to the business partner for them to use as they wish. I will say, sadly, our opt-in is lower than I think both the chapter and the business partners would like to see. We'd like to have our members opt in a little bit more. And so one thing I try to do to maybe handle that is when I'm at meetings and I'm just talking to members, you know, I'll talk to them about what their needs are, or, you know, or even just in general, I'll talk about, yeah, no, we have some great business partners. And, you know, oftentimes the member will be like, well, I don't have any, you know, check writing capabilities. I don't have any input on what we buy or where the company spends money. So I try to tell them, you know, both to the, not just to benefit business partners, but to help them kind of, you know, take their seat at the table, is to say that, you know, you have input though. You may not be writing the check, but you get to say, hey, I think this is great. I think this is what we need. This is where we should be focusing on. And, you know, those people who are writing the checks, or your manager or your boss, is going to be listening to your input. So you might want to have some feedback for them, and getting to know your vendors is the way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing that I'll say
Absolutely.
as well is a lot of the onus should really be on the business partner. They are there, and as you saw the numbers at the Mile High chapter, they have the ability to network with 40 people per meeting. A lot of it is on them to actually go up and do that. I will tell you, and I will not name any names, that there are business partners that will come for the presentation, and then as soon as the presentation's done, they leave. And that's completely okay. You know, if that's what they, and maybe they've got other appointments they need to go to, we totally understand. But you are, as a business partner, you have the opportunity to get in front of that many people. You should plan your day accordingly, in my opinion, so that you have that ability to do that. And Marshall, I saw your chat about Access not sponsoring Northern California. I will take a look at that for you, sir.
Well, and then there was another comment about approaching the business partner info as an opt-out. And my understanding is that we cannot do that, because ARMA International's stance is that we do not give our member information out unless the person explicitly states that we can. So while I would love for it to be an opt-out, we have to do the opt-in rather instead of opt-out. I don't know if Heather can confirm that, or.
Yeah. It's actually, so in, we also give the opt-out option. We don't have the opt-in as well. So with, and Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, with most of our lists, we usually have the opt-out option. So I was not aware of that, RJ.
Okay. Well, if we can change, that would be fabulous. I think we were just always under the, and maybe this is something that changed, but we were always under the assumption that ARMA doesn't give out member information. So they have to opt in wanting to give it.
What you said before, RJ, was actually very poignant in that, you know, there's a way to mitigate the effect of having people opt in, and that this is an opportunity to do this kind of qualitative, almost this qualitative type of research that's very valuable to sponsors, right? Because if, you know, the contact information for one decision maker or one influencer, just one, vastly outweighs, you know, 50 who are not going to open email or care about what the vendor, you know, what the partner is selling or pitching. So this is kind of an, you know, to have folks opt in means you've done kind of a bit of the qualification work for them. You've qualified a lead, so to speak. So there's some value in that.
Yeah.
And I really want our members to know that they have power, because sometimes I feel like they think they don't. If they think they're just a RIM coordinator, or, you know, they think they don't have power to affect change. And it's like, well, you do. You're here at this meeting, so it must mean you want to affect change at your organization. So believe you have the power, because you do.
Yeah. Great.
And
Okay. So
Chris?
we're a little bit over. Bill, why don't we get some last kind of comments coming in here, but I do kind of want to start wrapping it up here in the next minute.
Yeah, I think the last thing that I'll say is that number one, Chris, yes, these slides, I'm going to email these to Heather, if that's okay with you, for you to send out to everybody that's in attendance. But
yep.
I'm really hoping that this has been helpful. I think that we can use our business partners in a lot of different ways. They are, hopefully the bulk of them, I know I do, see the value in the organization. I wouldn't be here and doing the things that I'm doing if I didn't. So I hope this has been helpful, and any questions that you guys have, I'll speak for myself. You can definitely reach out to me and throw any questions that you have at me, and be happy to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Same goes for me if anybody has questions.
Yeah. Thank you so much to Bill and to RJ for being on the line with us here today and participating with us. We're going to have some upcoming community calls in the next couple of months, so look for us in May and in July. So thank you guys for being here today and for participating. Have a great day.